Take for me, you know. I play a few of my old songs, which is good, and I enjoy doing that. But I could make a career out of it, do you know what I mean? It would do my head in, really.
And you're continuing to resist every offer to reform the band, and always will.
I have so far, yeah. No, listen, I'm adding fuel to fire. No, there's no way it will happen. It'd be absurd, you know. 3 50-something old geezers sort of jumping around the stage. It's just thing. I mean, I am 50-something and I'm jumping around the stage, but it's a different way of jumping. That's it. I'm jumping differently.
Brendan, you said there that decision to split the band ensured that the legacy was kept intact. You're happy that he hasn't gone back on that decision?
Well, I think so. I mean, I was only 10 when the Jam split up, and my mate who was with me now, he wasn't even born. We've often discussed about bands and stuff, and we're delighted, really, that it never actually happened, because I don't know, because I look back at the stories, and my brother went to one of the Jam last time because he was a few years older than me, and when you hear about it, it's like a magical mystery thing that we try to recreate it. I don't think it can't ever be the same, really.
You can't recapture those things, you know. And also, why should you, though, as well? You know, if they meant so much to you and you got what the message was, it's like, keep moving forward. Well, almost every band, actually, has been getting back together in recent years because it's a big business and there's a whole very strange nostalgia trip going on. But it ain't for me.
Let's keep moving, then, in the words of the song. And we've got another question now. This one's from Daniel Ash.
I'm also a songwriter, but I occasionally get writer's block. Do you have any tips or advice on how you overcome it?
Drink. Bring my advice on man. I don't know, sometimes you just got to put it down for a bit, you know. You've got to walk away from it and then see what happens. And people say, you know, you can travel, you can go to a different environment, you can start detuning your guitar, you can, you know, there's all different things. But I personally think it's either there or it's not there, and then when it is, it's tough. I think it's like a cycle, creativity.
How often have you had writer's block? And do you recognise it as writer's block?
Once a year for the last sort of 35 years or something, you know. But that's just part and parcel of it, really. When it used to happen when I was younger, it used to make me feel, you know, I must be pulling my hair out. It's just like, oh my God, it's gone. It's, you know, whatever I had is gone. But it doesn't go. Sometimes it just ain't happening for you, and you just got to sit it out and wait.
But you wouldn't have known that at the time, say, after the split of the Style Council, before you moved on to your solo work. And I think you've talked about this before, that you almost forgot how to write songs, how to play the guitar. Was there an element of panic there, of my muse has gone?
I don't know if I was panicking. I was depressed by it, because it was like, this is the thing that I've always done and always wanted to do, and all of a sudden I can't do it anymore. It's like pick a guitar up and it didn't mean nothing to me, you know. But then I got it back by, in very practical terms, by just getting out on the road and working and gradually working through it and finding myself again, you know. But it was tough at the time.
And that work ethic, that idea of get back out there, that was instilled by your father then?
It was, yeah. His thing was, listen, you've got to go back out on the road and make some money, because we need to make some money. I hated it at the time, doing it. I hated going back to clubs and playing to only a few hundred people, because my heart wasn't in it. But then all of a sudden my heart was in it again, and I was writing songs and I was excited again, and consequently other people were, you know.
Let's have another question. This is from Sachin Ranjani.
Where would you rank yourself among Britain's greatest songwriters?
What number?
Well, top 10, definitely.
I agree.
Thank you. From all time, you mean, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully at least it's scraping in sort of number 9 or 10 maybe, you know.
Who's above you?
John and Paul, obviously, you know, Bowie and all the greats, really. Ray Davies, obviously. All the people I like, really. All the people that have influenced me. Yeah.
Sachin, what number is he at then?
I agree, top 10.
Cool. That's good enough for me. I'm happy with that.
Next question is from Jason Holmes.
To what extent do you think your best work is yet to come?
Well, I'd like to think it is. The reality of that doesn't matter to me. It's more that propels me forward and makes me want to keep going, you know. And I think there's always been that element in me. Obviously, I'd like to write the perfect song, but I know that such a thing doesn't really exist, I don't think.
You're still looking for the perfect songs, then?
Well, yeah, I think so, yeah. You know, if you've written a song which you consider to be great, naturally think as a human being, well, can I do it again? Could I make even better next time, you know?
Which ones have come close to perfection, do you think?
Wildwood is one of them for me, because it's so simple, you know. There's like 4 chords in it. Like an old folk song. So it's just that all the way through, and the only dynamic in the song really is the voice, and the voice, you know, is soft at first and it builds up, and I think that's great. To be that simple and yet so dynamic is quite hard to do at times.
Next question is from Nicola Wells.
You've talked a lot today about moving forward. But if you could relive one of your gigs from your career history, which one would it be and why?
The one from the last Saturday. Seriously, because it was just absolutely brilliant, you know. But it's always like that for me, to be quite honest with you. It's whatever the last great gig was. Last Saturday was as good as it gets to me, really. The band was playing fantastically, and we were really totally in tune with the audience, and we were all committed and a lot of passion.
And the jam gigs were riotous affairs. I mean, they're incredibly hot, fast, passionate. Do you have vivid memories of being on stage at those gigs, or did they just pass in a blur?
Well, we did an awful lot, so they do kind of blur into each other. But generally, I couldn't necessarily say, oh, that was, you know, West Runton Pavilion or something. But the mood of it is always with me, you know, if I sit and think about it. They were just exciting right from the word go, you know. Right. I remember playing the Sobel Centre, and I got so excited when I got on stage that I fell over.
Fell on your back?
Like a kid at a party, like that, you know.
You jumped on the monitors at the front of the stage,
yeah,
you fell flat on your back?
I was just so overwhelmed by the electricity in the gig and fell over. But
playing The Gift, in fact. You were playing the song The Gift.
Yeah, it probably was, yeah.
I can tell you because I was in the front row.
I remember you now.
Elaine McGinty has our next question on a similar theme, actually, I think.
Many towns celebrate their musical heritage, and your music and that of the Jam still attracts people from around the world to Woking. But you noted yourself that it's got no live music venue. Do you think there's a general lack nationally in the UK today of live music venues where new bands get to develop their sound and grow their audience?
I guess I'm a little bit out of touch with all that, but it's there's not as many places to play, you know. It's much tougher now than it was back in the 70s. You could play every night of the week in London, for instance. But Woking's never been sort of exactly renowned for its live venues, is it? You know, that's why we ended up playing sort of working men's clubs and social clubs, because that's the only place you could get on a Friday or Saturday night, really.
Let's move on again. Next question is from Julia Wells.
Might need a little bit of imagination for this one. If you imagine swapping lives with fellow mod Bradley Wiggins for a minute, if you were cycling a stage of the Tour de France, what would be the 5 tunes in your headphones to push you over the finish line?
Ah, that's because Bradley had the Jam on his playlist, didn't he? And The Who and the Small Faces. Really? And he said it was you helped inspire him to the Tour de France win.
I don't know. I wouldn't like to do his job anyway, because it's hard work, isn't it? Probably put some sort of soul tunes on, you know.
And do you get out on the bike?
I've not been out on my bike for some years. My wife bought me a chopper, 1970s chopper, which is wicked as well. She bought me out about a couple of years ago and I still haven't used it. But hopefully I'll get to sort of, you know, maybe I could ride my chopper with Bradley sometime. And
That's a race that people want to see, isn't
it? This is downhill.
Let's finish up with a question from Paul Thompson.
What would the Paul Weller of 1982 think about the music Paul Weller is producing in 2012?
Well, I think as long as he didn't look at the front cover to see how old the Paul Weller of 2012 is, because I've been so biased against old people.
You were ageist, were you?
I was definitely, yeah, absolutely ageist, yeah. But I think otherwise I wouldn't like all of it. I'd like some of it, but I was so sort of convinced that, you know, people's lives that ended after 25 that I probably wouldn't have got that far, you know what I mean?
All the golden faces are under 25 was the line from the very first Jam single in the city.
Yeah. Even though I was blinkered in some ways, and musically as well, but that helped in lots of ways because it made me really focused and very definite about things, and I think that was important at that age to feel like that.
Yeah. I'm just going to throw the microphone at Alan Davis, who is just sitting behind there. Comedian and actor Alan Davis. I mean, a long-term Jam fan, weren't you? What was it? We've been talking about 1982 and The Gift and the band at the time. What was it about them and their sound that appealed to you?
I came across the Jam in a second-hand record store in Walthamstow, and I got a copy of That's Entertainment, which is a German import, and it had Tube Station Live on the back, and that was me hooked, and that was 1981. And then they didn't do an album that year. So I had to wait for The Gift to come round, and then you split it up, you bastard. So I went to the Wembley Arena gig. I went to that farewell gig, one of the great nights of my youth. And if I've got a question, it's you put 2 singles out in 81. There's Absolute Beginners and Funeral Pyre. What was Funeral Pyre about?
It was about the rise of fascists and the National Front and all that lot.
Yeah, it just had that great line, if you get too burnt, you can't go back home. And it was at the time, you were saying you didn't want to do an album or a tour, and I felt there was a bit of dissatisfaction in you. I used to lap up all the interviews. You know, I was an NME subscriber, and so, as you know, you were NME's Man of the Year every year for about 5 years in a row.
I thought it was a Woman of the Year one year as well.
You probably did get votes for that, yeah.
That's all we've got time for, I'm afraid. Thanks for your questions. Thanks to our audience here at Maida Vale. And thanks most of all to Paul Weller for taking us back to the Jam final album, The Gift. Don't forget the Mastertapes pages on the Radio 4 website. It will have exclusive content, photographs, videos, and you can download today's programme as well as the rest of the series, and you can tweet us using the hashtag BBC Mastertapes. We'll leave you with another live song from Paul Weller. This one, Paul, I think, well, it came out at the same time that you were recording The Gift. Alan Davis was talking about Absolute Beginners. This is the B-side. This is Tales from the Riverbank, then.
Hopefully, yeah. Bring you a tale from the pastel fields where we ran when we were young. This is a tale from the water meadows, spreading love and joy into your heart. It's mixed with happiness, it's mixed with tears. Both life and death.
And if you want to hear more material recorded at this Mastertape session, including exclusive performances, photographs and videos, go to the Mastertapes pages via the Radio 4 website.